This whole thing has been a dumpster fire, and it's just hard, for guys. We want guys to be professional and we want them to do this, but it's hard for guys, to go through what they've been through and to be able to come out and beat a team of that quality. I'm happy for all the guys. I just thought that they did a great job. Don't know if he left the building or not. I have no idea. Then he left the building. I'm happy for the guys that that played the game and we won. Hey guys, I'm going to talk about the guys that played. They did a great job. We found a way to win the game. That's what's important.
You got Alvin Gentry using the term dumpster fire. That upsets me.
So though, he's a nice guy.
He is a great man. I really enjoy being able to work with him. But Rob, what do you think about the way that Anthony Davis is going about all of this?
This is a total mess. Alvin Gentry's 100% right. Even for him, here's the coach who says, I don't even know if he left the building. Like really. Like the guy just did on his own. Now, here's the thing. I get it. He wants a trade. People have a right to ask for a trade. That's not even in the conversation. You have a right to ask for a trade.
Be in the conversation.
No, but I'm saying, you have a right to ask for a trade. But the way that this has gone on, I don't know what Rich Paul and AD actually thought was going to happen, that the Pelicans were going to just be like, what? Oh, yeah, our star player, here we go. You want to go to play with LeBron, and we're just going to turn you over, and this is not going to be an ugly breakup. And you have a year and a half on your contract. You don't have, this is not your final year and you want out. Also, if you're the Pelicans, you're saying, wait a minute. Last year, Anthony Davis played great. They swept the first-round playoff series against Portland and won a game against the Warriors in the second round. So wait a minute. What happened from what we did last year to now you can't be here, and 2 years, almost a year and a half prior to your contract being up, you want out. And then when it's all public and whatnot, so yes, are the fans going to be mad and boo? Yes. Did you just throw a hand grenade on the Pelicans season and their franchise? Yes. What do you expect the reaction to be and the way it's been so public? Now, on the flip side, just look at what happened with Porzingis, right? He wanted out of New York. Nobody really knew, and then other than he didn't go to that exit interview with Phil Jackson. You remember that? So that kind of gave you a little inkling that maybe something was going on there, but you didn't hear anything. It went from one day Porzingis is on the Knicks to boom, he's traded, it's all done, he didn't want to be here, so we moved on. And I just didn't see that because it was the Rich Paul and the LeBron, and it seemed like there was a plan or a scheme or that was already being hatched, that the reaction from New Orleans not to make him feel good makes total sense to me. I don't blame the Pelicans for not wanting to just say, oh, yeah, you're walking out on this, and I'm going to make all your dreams come true, and we're left with nothing.
Look, I don't blame the Pelicans at all. I think all these people running around talking about the Pelicans have messed this up. No, the Pelicans did exactly what they should do, which is wait until we can get all of the best offers this summer. Then we'll make a move. It's not our responsibility to give a player that wants to leave us his dreams, okay? That said, to your point, a player has a right to make a trade demand even midway through his contract. If a team has a right to trade him and they don't think you're living up to the deal, we don't think you're playing as well as we thought, they will move him in the dark of the night and nobody will bat an eye. Okay, so he has every right to do that just like anybody else does. We could do that if we wanted. Kevin Garnett, one of the most loyal players in the history of the league, he's come out and said to AD, told AD to his face, you need to get out of New Orleans. You need to go somewhere where you can compete for championships. KD didn't want to go to Boston, but when he finally got there and they began competing for championships, he loved it. He wishes he had gone earlier, and that's what he's saying to AD. Don't waste 95% of your prime playing for a franchise that really can't win it. Get to someplace you can win it. So I'm fine with AD doing it. The problem has been this. It had to get ugly. There was no other way to do it. Now, I do think, and I thought, they would just wait till the summer and wait till they make the max offer, turn it down.
Exactly.
And then they don't even have to request the trade. New Orleans just says,
He doesn't want to
okay,
sign.
He's
He's not
not staying. We're gonna probably
staying.
have to trade him. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like Anthony Davis and Rich Paul are prioritizing what's good for the Pelicans. All right, I'm not gonna make that argument. However, you can look. The one thing you can say about it is they are making sure New Orleans does not get blindsided. We've seen guys get blindsided. If Kyrie leaves Boston, it's going to be somewhat of a blindside, and you're going to get nothing in return for him. So they at least are telling them, look, we're not staying. And they have given them 3 opportunities to trade Anthony, which in theory should maximize your chance of getting a great deal. 1, you had this past trade deadline. 2, you've got the draft and the summer of 2019. 3, you've got the 2020 trade deadline. So it's ugly, but at the same time, New Orleans does have opportunity. It's better than just getting left at the altar. Oh my gosh, and they might get Zion Williamson out of this. They might get some decent Lakers players or some really good Boston players. So I look at it that way. I know it's ugly. I don't think he should have left the game early. But at this point, that's just one little addition to what's
but it adds to what, right?
To use Alvin Gentry's.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, and I don't think he's handled it the correct way. But when I look at Anthony, and I'm gonna kind of defend AD here, he's looking at a team that last year we made a step in the right direction. But look at our roster. Look at the personnel we had. We let Rajon Rondo go. That was a huge release for a guy who felt like, he runs our offense. Drew Holiday was better because of him. I was better because of him. The pieces they just look completely different. And now it's all solely on Anthony Davis. And now to everybody's point, with him wanting to go where he wants to go, Kristaps Porzingis, you brought him up. He just flat out wanted out.
Right.
He didn't have a specific destination that he wanted to go to.
And I think that makes
similar, Rob.
But I think it makes a big difference between when a franchise thinks that you're in cahoots with somebody and somebody who just wanted out of the Knicks just wanted out because he didn't say I'm only going here or I'm going to the Lakers, putting them in a situation where the Pelicans are going to repel from that.
But he did give them 4 teams.
Well, but I'm just saying, but it was the Lakers that he really wanted to go to, and that's what they were pushing. So automatically you push back and go, I'm not. Now, if he would have said, I just want out of here, if you want to work out a deal or give you a handful of teams, I don't think that's what he wanted. He wanted to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with him saying where he wants to go. We're talking about.
But when you say that, Greg, you limit what the Pelicans can do.
When they first requested the trade, they did not give him a list. Then they eventually gave him 4 teams. So they never narrowed it down to just the Lakers. They gave him 4 teams.
But he's the type of player that he can say where he wants. He has that type of right and that type of game to let it be known. To the rest of the league, this is where I want to be. And if I want to be there, I only have a certain amount of timetable if I'm not there next year. So he's letting it be on notice across the league. But what he's doing, like leaving the game, I get back to this. Leaving the game at halftime because he's going to get an MRI. Let's clear that up. He went to go get an MRI on his shoulder. I don't have a problem that he's going to get an MRI. But for those other guys in that locker room that we've practiced together, you've committed to us, and you came out and said, you know what, I'm not going to ask for a trade. This is where I start to have a problem with it when it comes to the way Anthony Davis is being perceived within the locker room with the guys. Because when it's one thing to make business decisions and impact and change your mind on what you want to do from an organizational standpoint, because they'll pull the trigger on you any given moment. But now when you tell these guys, I'm in it, and then you tell them, nah, I'm not, I'm out, I have a problem with that. And to quit, I'm not going to say he quit, to move off the...
Why not?
Because that's not technically what he did. But
he quit on them.
This is something that can happen in practice. Guys do it all the time. I tweak my ankle, I tweak my hamstring. Just don't even play. Because you're sending the wrong message across the league. Now it's like everybody has an ability to chime in and say what you're not doing and how it's looking, and it's directly affecting you and your image. Now, he's going to be looked at from a different lens now, because now he was Mr. Nice Guy. Right. He was the guy that does everything right, the superstar that everybody loves and adores and is in a small market that's doing it the right way. Now that's all out the window. Now you're going to be looked at as the guy that's the villain. You're a traitor. We're going to boo you. They had bags over their heads during the game. Nothing he does is going to be right in anyone's eyes. So he's going to have to deal with that for the rest of his career now.
You're saying that obviously you have the right to ask for whatever you want, but the team, I remember when Brett Favre wanted to be traded, right? Given his Hall of Fame quarterback and all this, what did they do? He wanted to go to Minnesota Vikings. The Packers are like, we're not sending you there. You can go there and get there eventually, and I think that's what happened with the Pelicans. Basically, we're not going to accommodate you, just even though Green Bay was ready to move on.
The Brett deal was a little different.
We're going to move on. What? But they had their quarterback.
He had retired.
No, but they had their quarterback who they thought was better than him, and they didn't think that Brett was that guy. But they still said, no, we'll send you to the AFC and the Jets. And if you want to get to Minnesota, which you wind up doing, you'll do it on your own, but we're not going to enable you.
What should happen now is what I felt should have happened from the get-go. If I was New Orleans, it's easy for me to say this, but I would have been like, go ahead, go back to Chicago, work out, whatever. We'll let you know when you're traded. Now, I know the Players Association would have fought back. There's the league rule. You can't do that. But now I think that's what will happen. And you see why that's best. Now you've got an injury that I don't know how long you can stretch it out to, but let him sit out. The fans are there booing him at home. He risks injury again, which could decline his trade value. And for New Orleans, it's better if we lose, because then we get a better lottery pick, most likely. So I just think, honestly, we really shouldn't see Anthony Davis playing the rest of the year.
Well, as Alvin Gentry said, dumpster fire.
Big time.
Speaking of this game, Russell Westbrook continued his amazing triple-double streak last night. But is OKC the biggest threat to the Warriors in the West? Jason McIntyre answers that question.
Speaking of dumpster